back for episode 6, coming in during D3 week. As always, I'm starting it up here. I'm Coach Brad Dunn.
And I'm John Duncan.
And today, he's already jumped in and introduced himself, but we're excited to welcome Coach Aaron Green. Aaron Green is one of our assistant coaches here at University of Lynchburg, a recent graduate of Widener University. Aaron, how are you doing down there?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Doing well, kind of pushing through. So it's been an exciting week. Lots going on here on our campus, and really trying to push forward with some extra energy here as we've ended up about a month into our stay at home and quarantine, and trying to get things, re-energize our team and our peers. And this has been a really positive week with it being D3 week, and that's part of the reason why we wanted to have Aaron on today. Is that he's a recent graduate of Widener University, like I said, where he was a part of the there, had an excellent career. And Aaron, can you tell us a little bit more, expand on that, your career as a swimmer and now as a coach?
Okay, so I, like you said, recently graduated from Widener University. Swam there all my 4 years. Like you said, D3 college in Chester, Pennsylvania, and mainly swam 50 free, 100 free, hundreds of stroke, and had a great time. At Widener.
This is where I'm outnumbered because I've got 2 sprinters on the screen with me. So over there and down there, I'm the only.
So Aaron, Brad was saying he can beat you in a 50 free. Is that
not saying
you guys got up and raced? You're talking trash over there, Brad, about being a distance swimmer.
We haven't got the chance to race in a 50 yet. I think we have to settle something on the basketball court.
Now that we do need to settle. We've got several that believe that Aaron and I one-on-one that I'd get skunked, and in no way would I get skunked, and I think I could even beat him. So we got to settle that.
Yeah.
So Aaron, my first question for you is coming, I guess the transition, you just graduated last year, and that transition coming in from student athlete now to a coach. How's that been for you?
It's really been interesting, but I kind of had my own thoughts on how that was going to be coming out of college, just turning 22, and how that was going to be with people that were on the team older than me and just my age. And I actually think that went really well. We have a team full of very respectful people, and I think our team handled it well, and I try to handle myself as a coach and not I think I've had great coaches along the way and great grad assistants, and they kind of set a really good example for me to step in, and I feel like I was accepted as a coach and not as a student. So it's been a good transition, and I have to thank Brad for that and the rest of the team for making that transition so smooth.
That was awesome. We had a great start, and a lot of our success this year I put on to our assistant coaches, and Aaron definitely being home, Donna, who was on this past week, and then Rachel is a little more camera shy, but we're gonna get her on here eventually. Isn't that right, Aaron? We're gonna push.
She needs to do one.
Which is awesome. Well, good. 2-part question, because one thing that we didn't talk about as we started, this is Coffee with the Coaches. Every guest that we've had so far has not brought coffee, except for you, Aaron. Now we've got somebody that's brought a coffee. So I've got a hazelnut Nespresso that I'm drinking here. Aaron, what did you bring to join us with today?
I use the Keurig, and I just have a Pete's. It's called Pete's. It's one of the K-Cups. So I threw that in there, and don't have any cream and sugar, so I'm drinking it black. So, but it's pretty good.
I love Pete's coffee. John, what about you? What did you bring today?
It's a pecan dark roast here, Brad.
I brought the Texas pecan to the LHSN podcast, the Hive podcast we did this week, and I made some in a French press, so we'll have to link to that. We talked about this show on the podcast, and so now I've got to talk about the podcast on this show. But one of the things that we discussed a lot and mentioned here was about Division III and our experience. And kind of tell me a little bit about, Aaron, you were a really talented sprinter in college, but you were also pretty talented coming out of high school as well. And you had some opportunities to look at different schools, different sizes, Division I, Division III. I know your parents pulled your leg a little bit to get you to go to Widener, but tell me what made your experience at Widener so special and what you think you got from that.
I would definitely say it gave me definitely a very personalized experience. Jumping in, I was able to do the events that I wanted to do, and I thought that was pretty special, just being able to come in and work on the events that I wanted to work on, whether that being the 53 or the 100 breaststroke or whatever that may be. but I also think outside of the pool, it allowed me to experience a lot of different things and network in a lot of different areas. Um, like we've talked about before, being able to be on Black Men United and being able to be on BSU and like be a vice president of those programs and do things like that and join other clubs and organizations while still being extremely focused on swimming and still wanting to have great performances in swimming. But I was able to go outside of that and do other different things and network with other different people outside of swimming. And I think D3 allowed me to do that in a really, really cool way. So I do not regret that decision at all.
Awesome.
That's awesome, Aaron. I mean, really good answer there. So what is your role at Lynchburg in the coaching aspects? Are you working more with the sprinters, or does Brad have you kind of maybe going out of your comfort zone and working with distance or mid-D group?
It's definitely a variety. I would say it's a huge variety. I'm not just with the sprinters. I'm not just with the distance. I'm not just with the freestylers. I would say it's definitely a mix. I think we do a great job of mixing it just to get different points of views for all the swimmers, and just because we all have extremely different backgrounds. So I think we do a great job as a team and getting to, sometimes I may be working with breaststrokers, sometimes I may be working with freestylers, and but towards the end of the season, I do believe that we make it more keen to what the swimmers are doing and what they're preparing for at our championship meet. So it definitely varies.
Aaron, you did, I mean, obviously we talked about the great work that you did with us here, and one of my favorite things about now being a head coach and was when I was an assistant with John, I brought in a lot of my experiences and things that I had coached previously or done as a swimmer, and then I learned from him as well. And hopefully you learned some things from me, but you brought a lot of great stuff to the team and great ideas, especially some of the stuff we did down on training trip. But what do you think is your favorite set to coach, or not necessarily maybe one that you brought, but your favorite maybe a test set or kind of fun set that really gets the team going? Your favorite?
I really do enjoy Beat the 60. That's always fun. It always gets the team super engaged, and I do like that set. I like the 100 hundreds that we did in Florida. That's one set that I really do enjoy. It's a partner up set, and I think it does get the team involved, and it's a great time to just work hard, and it still has you to kind of have fun in the same time. And one thing.
100 hundreds. Explain that one a little bit to everybody.
Oh, so the 100 hundreds is pretty much, it's 50. You're not doing 100 hundreds yourself, but you're partnered with a female or another swimmer on your team, and you're splitting the 100 hundreds, and you're doing 50 100s. So basically, one person goes, does 100 while the other person is on the wall, and once they finish the 100, the other swimmer does 100, and so go on and so forth. And you do that for 50 times. And those, you're not doing all freestyle. They're split into 10. So you might be doing 10 freestyle, 10 freestyle with fins, 10 butterfly, 10 hundreds, 50 kick, 50 swim. So all different types of things. And it keeps it interesting. And not something you want to do every week, but it's something to do and just to switch things around in a different feel.
I like that. What's the time frame on that set?
Try to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah.
So obviously no warm up or anything. You just kind of jump in and get straight on it. So if practice starts at 5, hopefully they're all in there at 5:01 and just trying to knock them out.
I like that.
I didn't get to have the fun coaching that set this year because I was in the water swimming it down in Florida, and you got through the whole thing. Subbed in for a few people and kept it rolling. And so I was pretty gassed and out of breath, but it was fun to be a part of.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite things. And one thing that we did in Widener, I wouldn't call it a test set, but you might call it a curveball. But one thing that I really enjoyed always was just one thing my coach did at Widener was we might be in the middle of warm up, we might be in the middle of practice, we might be in the middle of warm down, but we would all be on the wall, and she would just say, "Everyone get up," and then 100 free off the blocks. And that's one thing that really kind of I did enjoy, kind of like a test set because we were supposed to be going all out. But it's one thing that really, no matter how you were feeling, it might be warm up, might be in the middle of the main set, might be when we think we're about to be done. But one kind of thing that she threw in there and kind of mixed things up to get a reaction and to still get us going fast, no matter how we're feeling at whatever point of that practice.
Like it. So Aaron, my next question, I was a GA around 18 years ago. What advice would you give to someone coming out of college and trying to, I guess, what is the process, the steps you took to become a GA at Lynchburg?
Really good. That's a really good question. I've actually have to think about that because with this only being my first year, I know I've talked to, when I was trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do after college, I know I reached out to my grad assistants when I was a sophomore, and just asked him for some advice. And what he told me, and I think that was really important, was just to be open to a new place. And talking to my coach Katie, she also said to be open. So I would say probably the most important thing is to be open and to not block anywhere off, especially coming out of college. I think you have to be open to going anywhere, open to starting and being part of starting a new team, which is the thing I was able to do here with Lynchburg. Was able to join Brad and Rachel and Donna and starting a new program. So I think that would be the most important thing, is to be open. Obviously, a lot of other things fall in that list as well, but just be open to new ideas and to a new place. And
It's definitely great advice.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too is your assertiveness, and when we got connected, and I really like that, because I think as a coach, and one of the reasons I learned so much working with John and working with Charlie beforehand was I wasn't given a piece of paper or a to-do list all the time, right? It was a lot of my growth was just given responsibility and putting me in a position to be assertive, and that's what I really tried to do with you this year, Aaron. Is not micromanage, but let you really write your own workouts, work with your swimmers, and I had full trust in you all along the way, and assertiveness with the hiring process gave me confidence to be that way. And kind of talking about that assertiveness and what your swimming experience being a college athlete does for you, kind of prepares you for those curveballs in times like we're in right now, right? And we're about a month into being in stay at home and quarantine, and it's challenging. It's challenging in a lot of ways for a lot of people. What are some things that you can tell us? What have you been doing to stay in the right mindset and stay fit physically, and maybe grow as an individual during this time at home?
Some things I've been doing just to try to stay in the right mindset is definitely trying to exercise more. Trying to take this time and take a block out of my day, whether that be an hour, 30 minutes, or just try to focus on staying fit. Might be doing push-ups, just doing any type of home workout I can come up with or that I see online. And also trying to spend this time with family and talk with them. I know we set up Zoom calls with other family members and that type of thing, and also working with my dad, whether that be out in the yard or in the office, but just trying to stay active, trying to stay busy, and trying to stay positive, most importantly.
That's great. That's kind of what we're all doing, Aaron, just being positive and trying to keep the mind going, the body, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to hang out with friends and family.
Yeah.
So, Brad, how are we doing on time?
We're doing pretty well. Probably got time. You got time for one more question, and then I'll wrap up with the last question for Aaron.
Oh, I guess if we break down your 50 free, I guess what's the most important thing in a 50 free? Either the start, or how many breaths you take. If you can decide right now, break it down 1, 2, 3. Those 3 things, how would you order that?
Ooh. So you put I have the start, I have how many breaths you take, and what was the third option?
Yes, the turn.
Oh, the turn.
50 free.
That's really tough.
Because either way, I guess if you don't have the start, right, then you can lose the race, or you miss your turn, you lose the race. But
I'm gonna have to put the breaths you take at number 3.
Okay.
I do believe that like you shouldn't be taking a lot of breaths, but I think the start and the turn are gonna matter a little bit more than how many breaths you take. Um, I think that start I'm gonna have to put at 1, and that turn at 2, just because the start in a 50, I think it matters a lot, and I think I don't know. One thing my dad always told me when I swam the 50 was I could tell how your race was going to be from the first 5 seconds. So me getting off the blocks and taking those first couple of strokes, he's able to tell how I'm going to be. And obviously that turn second most important, because if you don't get off that turn and get going, and you're not going to get the time you want to go. So that's my order.
There you go. Some race breakdowns. First time we've gotten to that on here.
I'm curious to hear your guys' order. I know I'm not supposed to be asking questions, but I'm just curious.
I agree, Aaron. I mean, for me, it's got to be the start, and it's really that first 12 and a half of a race. And then I've seen swimmers take 0 to 8 to 10 breaths on a 50. And they still go pretty fast, but I think breaking down into it's the turns got to be right up there, but it's really the first 12 and a half. Brad, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree, but I also don't think that you need to just say hold your breath on a 50. I think that you've got to fuel the tank, and the oxygen has to continue to work through your body, even though it's not it's not a race that's going to go for more than, in Aaron's case, 20 seconds. But it is something that you've got to keep that oxygen in your blood, and you've got to make sure that you breathe at the right time. So I think that it's obvious that the start and the turn, but let's not in sprinting especially, let's not forget about those fine details and the stuff that comes so natural to us, where you think about taking a breath, but are we where is our catch? Where are we looking at getting that breath in? Where are those pieces that could kind of slow us down during the breath? Let's strengthen those, so that we're more powerful in something that typically we believe slows us down.
Makes sense.
See, distance swimming, we've got it too. But anyway, so we are kind of running short on time. So before we give you the last word, Aaron, our last question we ask our guests, thinking about who Coach Aaron is, not necessarily, maybe not the day-to-day. Coach Aaron, if he were represented by a movie character, any movie. We've had some people talk about, myself and Donna talked about some fictional characters, and then John and some of our other guests have talked about some more real life characters. But what movie character represents Aaron, Coach Aaron?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Something that I obviously don't think about much, but my head goes straight to, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Pride.
Oh yeah, and that's another real life character. That's awesome.
I don't think I have. It's been a while. That movie came out 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was like 2007 or maybe even further back than that. So, but I think of the coach in Pride. He was coaching a black swim team in like a rough area in Philly, and kind of founded a program to help like swimmers. And I think of that character. I think his name was Jim or James Ellis. And I also think of Will Smith in Hitch, probably more of a recent movie. But I like Will Smith in general, but I think of that because, like you said, as a person, I've always been someone, either whether that being in high school, college, and now, just my friends seem to come to me for advice, whether that be on school, relationships, or just anything in the world. They just come to me for advice. So I kind of feel like I kind of can relate to Hitch in that way. Will Smith playing that character.
No, I definitely see that. That's a good one. That's a good movie, and I can see that for sure, especially with your peers. And I think you mentioned at the beginning where you talk about your professionalism as a coach and being able to maintain that, even though you're only a little bit older than some of our swimmers. And I think that's something where I know your friends go to you for that kind of advice, and the swimmers, the type of things that they're coming to ask you about, and not just with swimming, but their day to day. I know you're somebody that is a great listener, and somebody that I know that we all trust. So that's good. And then Jim Ellis is the name of the coach in Pride. A great movie, and that's one. Maybe I'll watch that one again.
I need to watch that one. It's I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, really good movie.
Well, good. Well, we're about out of time here. So, Aaron, kind of give you the last word. Anything else that you want to add about you or anything else that you want to say before we sign off?
Just thank you for having me. Definitely a pleasure talking to you guys. Always wish you guys well, and hopefully, like you were saying, we're able to get back to things in the next few weeks or months, but definitely keep staying positive, and I'll definitely join you guys in that. So thank you again.
Awesome. Good. Well, appreciate it, Aaron. Thanks for your time today. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and happy D3 week. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Aaron.